Good morning, everyone. Again, Pharrell here, Flow Roofing out of Portland. And it's been about a week or so since we've done another update. A lot's happening, lots flowing, and I think it'd be best just to stay on top of it. Good habits. So we're still in June 2025, and we're about halfway through the month. Just got back from our Olympia project. Teams up there still wrapping it up, making sure everything's flowing properly. Put our door notices on our multifamily buildings the week ahead. Make sure we can lighten the load for our property managers. And before I'd sent the team up to do a site walk with ownership, but this time they were all strapped on a Friday, so I made the trek. Missed my train on the way back, so we took the late train and got in last night. Really, what we're going to be going over though this morning is more around the upcoming events. And so crews are flowing. I think Georgia's doing roughly about 6 roofs this week, although the rain is coming back, which is annoying. You can't schedule coatings. You can't do touch-up paint detail. A lot of the finish work that we like to get done in the sunshine is on pause. So for George, production coordinator, I told him the hardest parts of the entire year to schedule, uh, and I want to get him up to a production manager position here. Um, your spring and your falls, but here we are in June, and it's still throwing us for a curveball. Speaking of curveball, go Beavs! Go Beavs! You guys out there in Omaha, um, you're gonna do it, right? You got to get the job done, and you got to come out hot. You got to come out strong. You got to hold the line. You got to show them what the pace is going to be, and then you close the deal. You is it the top or the bottom of the ninth? Jesus. um, all the way to the end. So shout out to Beaver Nation supporting our Beavs out in Omaha. You guys are the backbone of D1 sports here in Oregon, at Oregon State. I don't know about them Oregon Ducks though. I guess they like football or something over there. So details coming up here. We have this week the Lake O Center of the Arts Festival featuring the Dentons bringing in Bill Plimpton, which doesn't mean anything to anyone until you know that Bill is the original artist and creator behind The Simpsons, right? And so I grew up, my dad would put on The Simpsons, pretty hilarious, just standard suburban cartoon, and I don't know if it was on at a specific time on the tube back in the day. This was late 90s, early 2000s, and apparently The Simpsons have predicted everything that's ever going to happen. But Bill's got a master class where he's going to teach people how to draw and his creative process behind it. And so we got a couple tickets for that on Friday, hopefully, which do not conflict with an outgoing flight to Compton and aka Spokane. So the Dentons actually at the Center of the Arts Festival are an old Flow customer, and as a partial trade at the time, it was a couple years back, we talked about sponsoring the Arts Festival, and I kind of told them my creative journey through pizza and then into roofs and what that means to me at least. And people don't really understand how business can be an art, or vice versa, how art can be a business. And art can be a business is probably more easy to understand than making business a art. And so at the time, pizza, I saw every peel was a canvas, really, to build out this dough mosaic that was one of a kind. And so at least how I would teach the team was to appreciate the pie, honor the pie, respect the pie. And with that, then we're basically making a one-of-a-kind piece of art. It doesn't matter if it's the 100th pepperoni of the day. It is the only pepperoni in that configuration of its kind at that time when the oven is at that temperature. It's unique to the universe. And with that, hopefully, people would taste love. And like we would be slinging. So telling the story of all that, how that happened, building the trailer with my buddies from the ground up, and what that trailer meant, as a product of our environment. That trailer, when I did my first 10,000 hours, and I might have done closer to 20, but when I did my first 10,000 hours, I wanted to, it is literally a cell. It contains you. You're contained. You are not able to get out in, you can kind of walk out the back door, but someone's got to man the oven. And there was always a curve to learning how to work the oven, get the temps right, to move the fire around, to move the pizzas adequately. At a certain point, there's not too many that can handle the volume. And there was some shows, and this is another part of the art, which is balance. And you can extrapolate balance maybe into like shading. And a master artist, I'm not a master artist at all, but like a master artist knows how to shade an individual's face, for instance, in realistic sketches so that the shadows look perfect, right? It doesn't make sense. Like they just know. And there's that same balance in the orchestration of a kitchen that's trying to flow. Even more so, balance is incredibly important for a kitchen that has never worked before or been built, or we've never seen the line, any of that stuff. So I've got a kind of a master outline for how I would do a different trailer. We wanted to have like double drop down doors so that you can like extend the kitchen one way and have more prep space on the front, and then keep the oven where it's at, make it triple axle, 7,500 plus pound axles this time. Put some skylights in that bad boy. Good stuff, like quality additions. Although food is the most difficult, tedious, and most oftentimes like highest risk business model, I guess, in business. I mean, there's others, obviously. Roofing is riskier, but like in terms of failure rates, they say restaurants are the worst. So anyway, so the Dentons had us out last year to sponsor the event. This year it's sponsored by an artist studio that does stop motion here in Portland. It's can't remember what it's called, but that's the whole premise of the event, which is stop motion. And I guess they've made a strong stance against AI, which is reasonable because it's like lazy art, right? You just click a button. There's no skill involved. You're just prompting something to like bring up a frame or a scene or something. So full transparency though, I've used AI before. I flip and love it, mainly because if you're not a qualified artist and you don't appreciate the process, and it just makes it easy for you, that's why it's lazy art, then that's what you get. So, we came up with a leak character, pulled the leak character off of Canva, and developed them there. But when we want to make a scene, or if we want to develop the comic for Mr. Leak and Flowman, then AI makes it stupid easy. But I'd like to and will talk to these guys about the arts festival through the lens of a stop motion animation, because we have Mr. Leaks around where it would be pretty funny to see if we can make like a faux leak roof situation where Flowman comes in and saves the day. So that would be a deal. So the Dentons invited us back this year, and it's just a nice little donation and a reminder that it's not all about roofing, to be a part of the community in a way that is completely opposite of construction, in the way that like art and building, they go hand in hand, but like art is not necessarily like, it's a labor of love. Building is a labor of love, it can be, but the idea is that we get to do something that's not associated with construction or the industry at all, to be a part of the community as an individual, hopefully. So they don't want us doing anything like crazy like bubbles or anything like you did last year, but we'll see what we can do to help participate, make it a better event. Other news, this Friday, so flying out to Spokompton, got a client having us take a look at one of their buildings to just give them a general prognosis. Excuse me. And we'll go ahead and we'll show you guys what that roof looks like. We should hopefully get up and take a look at it Saturday morning. And at that point, then we can cruise back, swing through the gorge, and go back to Spokane Sunday for a flight out to San Diego, where we do some continuing education, and where we specifically are going to be looking at additional commercial education. And it's not necessarily about the time. The instructor, I'd asked for additional support, and he's like, well, what if I give you 2 tickets for one? And dude came through, and so taking one of our lead inspectors to go learn all there is more about commercial. The conversation is really on the backside of commercial more so. The systems, the technical installs and everything we've got covered. It's what we've never had conversations with other business owners, with other people in the trade, specifically around what they say on the back end. How is it that they present? What is the follow-up sequence? What are the do's, don'ts? What's the good, bad, and ugly of commercial roofing, in a way where, I'd love to peek back behind the curtain of what some of these nationwide brands do, but they have hundreds of millions of dollars in business development, marketing strategy of relationships, decades and decades old, to build upon, with M&A strategy, private equity backed venture capitalists bullshit. So, that's what we're up against, really. Like, it's flow against the world in a way where private equity has the industry strangleholded to ensure that their bottom line is best served. And, I feel like commercial, one of the reasons why we love commercial so much compared to a relatively strong backbone of residential, is just that the clientele understands value, and it's this long-term relationship, where residential can be super transactional. We've found ways to extend the lifetime value of our clients, which is to basically extend the relationship of a purchase for a single-family homeowner. But the commercial folks, they appreciate the ROI, the value, the time, the communication, the education a lot more, where hopefully a single-family homeowner never has to buy a roof more than once or twice in their lifetime, depending on how serious you are about homeownership. These commercial folks, these are buy and hold propositions. So much is different in the entire commercial details that even into the warranty, that the terms are often different, even for the same product versus residential against commercial, which means that you get a better warranty for residential versus commercial for the same exact shingle, right? Whereas membrane holds the line, metal holds the line for commercial, but shingles, it's weird. You get a little bit different warranty for those products, which is a little funky. So that being said, the education portion of San Diego training is so going to be high value. I've got a running list of questions that I can't wait to ask because coming from residential going into commercial, you don't know what you don't know. And we've had a decent amount of success in the commercial space where we understand what people value, understand what people are choosing, and what they perceive to be the right choice. We understand our numbers there too, and it's really, mostly, it really kind of comes down to the relationship. And what I'd like to see for the team is to develop a thought process around commercial that is so nurturing that people can't ignore it. So, got the team in here. George?
No, it's me, man.
And it being Nick, showing up early, 6 o'clock. My man. So, George right behind him too is awesome. Seeing the team showing up early without even being asked is such a blessing that we have people that want to get to work, which, in this day and age, I think a lot of you would agree, people don't want to work. Like, the idea of going to a job that you enjoy, what the fuck? Like, that's not right. Like, but I'll tell you right now, like, what's the point of working if you don't enjoy your job, if you don't enjoy how you're flowing, right? So, I feel like if we have a culture here at Flow, it's like a big smile. Like, I just see everyone, for the most part, besides when it's really hot, like, at least around the shop, we're smiling. So it's nice to see people at least enjoy their environment. Hopefully that develops and fosters a future into building their dreams as well. So we'll talk about that here more in a different video. But communication. The communication detail around the commercial experience is the difference of residential and commercial. So you still have to set expectations and make sure that everyone's on the same page moving forward. You need to be able to paint a picture of what the process is going to look like, good, bad, and ugly, for the entire process. This is letting people know there's going to be noise, letting people know there's going to be crumbs, letting people know that we're going to create a disturbance, but while keeping them flowing, right? So some people are concerned about working from home. Some people want to make sure their business doesn't shut down during the week. So we're having those conversations early to make sure that they can visualize what success looks like. And then this kind of also in that commercial space extrapolates scheduling as part of that communication and having that conversation around what to expect, when to expect it, right? And how long to expect it. We have a project kicking off here maybe in 2 or 3 weeks where we can likely see 2026 in the same project and probably going into spring and summer of 2026. So again, setting expectations with all the peoples involved there, the GCs, the team, what to expect. We have to talk about rain in June, even though we're going to go through the driest 3 months of the year. We're going to have to talk about precipitation and what that means from a production scheduling perspective. Talking to distributors as well, making sure we can secure the materials. it's basically like 200 plus roofs in one, and it is private. It is to date our biggest project, but moreover, it's an opportunity. It's to show, and we'll talk about this in a complete separate video, how we're going to structure everything, how the team is going to be prepared, the labor allocation, the supervision involved, the quality control as well, the expectations around meeting spec, exceeding expectations, what all that looks like as well. And with those bigger projects, you are able to have more of a bigger lever, some negotiation from your distributors around getting a better deal for the project because you're buying so much material. And so there's limited wiggle room in the submitting alternates for this project, but it's still a huge opportunity to go in there and then extrapolate by providing loyalty to your distributor that, hey, we put this project on with the rest of our residential, then we can pass those savings along to our residential people by getting the same material pricing for the rest of the year until the next price increase, which is huge. Coming from $5 slices of pizza to our first 7-figure roof it's huge. What it does is it means that we can invest in better experiences for everyone, including the team, which is the dream. So part of the whole reason we got the shop was to create an environment that's going to give you clients a better experience by not operating out of a closet shop in Northwest, basically, just because it was convenient for distribution, like materials. And that volume conversation brings up the QXO merger, which was the purchase of Beacon Supply. And that guy comes from Waste Management, who had, just casually a couple extra $1 billion to go and purchase an entire industry leader. But that example was set forth because everyone kind of saw how Home Depot bought up SRS, which was Roofline, and how that was a play around securing distribution price, like more of a control on the vertical, mainly because that Roofline had purchasing power with big brands, I'm sure. And now there's 3 major players that are all controlled by even bigger conglomerates. You've got ABC, which is still, and which is nice. It's like the biggest female-owned brand, I think, in the world. She's like the richest female entrepreneur. And her husband, I think, died literally falling off a roof, which sucks. Then you have Beacon Supply now bought out by QXO. And then the third biggest competitor was SRS, who is now owned by Home Depot. And so there's real value. You see these big brands buying these other brands. There's real value in the industry still. And then there's little old installers like Flow, where we're just kind of holding the line on quality installs because the labor is so valuable. You guys see all the news headlines of ICE pulling people, literally like chasing them up roofs, keeping them on roofs, keeping them from basically supporting their families. These people they're not criminals. They're the hardest working people in the world. And we're here pretending like now there's a spectrum of everything, and there are those who do not belong, but there are those who simply just want to put food on the table for the families and create a better future the way that all the other immigrants that populated the U.S. ever have. And just because they came from where they came from at the time they came from, it seems like they're up against a rock and a hard place where they are truly, their work ethic is so valuable that there needs to be a different process for keeping the good ones. And like almost a hall pass. come in, bring in, get in front of who we need to get them in front of, give them this hall pass, and that's like their working visa to get them in the queue to allow them to be a part of society in a way where they don't have to live in fear, and we don't have to worry about these ICE people who are under some weird fucking quota to deal with people that are just trying to support their family. And if we would structure a thing that would actually maybe tax their earnings, which I don't know anything about what that could do, but it kind of makes sense. Like, let's get them to contribute. We've all hit a pothole. So anyway, that's a little bit of a ramble. We're going to be heading out to Spokane, then down to San Diego this weekend. We'll get you guys up on a roof or two this week. Next week we jump into coatings. We've got a 500 square terminal we're going to be starting to coat, and then we've got some other prep stuff here this week. We've got a half round gutter job coming up. Their shingles and steep slope are always going to be flowing. Couple small membrane details coming up as well. We just finished up a gymnastics building for that install. Got to get cap metal ordered. We've got a porch stanchion inspection coming up. That'd be interesting to take a look at on a mid or high rise. And then we've got production meetings for an HOA that we have coming up, and so much else. It's all going to be flowing. So we'll keep you guys updated. Maybe we'll see us at Bill Frimpton's teachings. I mean, that seems like a once in a lifetime deal. He's like up above his 80s and like still drawing, and 30,000+ drawings per episode just doesn't make sense. I mean, this guy's a master. So you can pull lessons just from the thought process of hearing another master talk about their specialty. And if I want to be at that level and bring the team to that level in the industry for roofing, then to listen to other masters talk about how they got to that level will help shed insight. I guarantee you he's got practice. I guarantee you he's learned from other people. I guarantee you he's taken lessons and he's heard from other people talk. Like, we're going to go into have that same exact dialogue with the San Diego training from other masters, transition and breathe in the information. Alrighty, we'll catch you on the roofs and catch you on the next one. Ciao.